Hi guys, with the Conservatives' Operation Amnesia in full swing, where they're trying to convince people to forget about the 14 years that they were in power, and in particular the last few, Richard Holden, a Tory MP and Brexiteer, brought up the point of travelling musicians. Now, rightly he was called out by the government minister over this, which was quite embarrassing. Have a listen to this.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Speaker, and I welcome anything which the government brings forward to support our new bands and musicians across the country. But the big thing that so many musicians are asking for is to ensure we can get those touring rights sorted out with our European counterparts. I just wondered if the Minister could update the House on what progress, if any, there has been, and if we can go further to get actually our bands out there and their bands over here.
Minister. If only he'd been a minister in the previous government when they failed to take the deal that was on offer from the European Union. I mean, look, we are working I'm absolutely determined to get this sorted. We got something. Oh, listen, I mean, if he wants to start promoting creative industries abroad, he might start thinking about film, for instance, Chicken Run. Seriously, we want to make sure that British acts can really prosper across the whole of Europe. And I'm talking not just about the big names like Dua Lipa and so on. I'm also talking about young acts like Otto Ade, who performed at the Ronda Arts Festival on Saturday and was amazing, and Caitlin Lavagna, whose song Run a Mile perhaps would suit him.
Okay. Apart from the theatre of that, no pun intended, there's a serious issue here. The Conservatives under Boris Johnson was offered by the European Union a deal which would allow musicians to travel more freely after the ending of freedom of movement. And Boris Johnson's government said no. Why? Well, because the feeling at the time was we need to have a break from Europe. It doesn't matter if it's something beneficial or it's a cost. It doesn't matter. We need to break from Europe. And there was an opportunity to help travelling musicians. And Boris Johnson and the Brexiteers said, no, we don't want that. It would have cost them nothing. There was no cost related to this. There was not even a political cost. But Boris Johnson and the sycophants of Brexit around him said, no, we don't want anything European. It was the same when it came to the Horizon scheme, the Horizon programme, which would have helped British scientists. Now, that was thankfully undone. The damage of that is still been undone. But the same feeling at the time. We don't want to be part of anything European because we Brexited. Remember, we sold people this idea that we need to leave, and if we do leave, everything will be better. You know, at that stage, it was still the negotiations, so we didn't truly feel the impacts of Brexit. But now you have Tory after Tory standing up and saying, hey, what are you going to do about undoing this aspect of Brexit? They need to apologise. They won't apologise, of course. But I think the way forward for the Conservatives is to distance themselves from Brexit. I don't think we're going to see that in the short and medium term, but that has to be their goal in the long term. Now, the government need to do more to help travelling musicians. It's not just about the musicians themselves, it's also the people that work with them, you know, the team that they go with. They also have to be able to travel more freely, because it's expensive and it requires a lot of paperwork. And it's not just the singer or the musician themselves, it's also their team. And so the government should be doing more to help them. There is some progress being made, no thanks to the Tories, but it will benefit both groups travelling to Britain and, of course, groups travelling from Britain to the European Union. So some positive news there. But once again, the Conservatives really should shut the F up when it comes to these things, because they are the ones who created these problems for very little political gain. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.